Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger. A soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli. Appetizers and cocktails from The Grill. Or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Busy night across the Magnolia State as Christmas parades are happening, and some of them trying to make up for what took place yesterday. So Mississippi Live Weather at 5, getting you ready for those parades. And what do we need to know? Well, first thing, bundle up. Cold is an understatement heading into this evening, and that's just going to be what we're tracking. The first headline getting into this evening. Yeah, it's just going to be a cold, brisk, bone-chilling type night for sure, so having those layers ready. But the fortunate thing, because at least there is some good in the forecast, is our parades stay dry. Everything's going to be good to go, so if you had to delay it from yesterday, well, it's going to be a whole different story, and be glad you did delay. Just make sure to bundle up once again. Matt joining us live in New Albany from the Christmas parade out there. Matt, I know it's a cold forecast right now. Talking to Penny behind the scenes, I know that she is layered up, ready to go, and I see that you are as well, of course, with the Mississippi Live Weather jacket. I will say that jacket, warmest thing on earth. So I, of course, will be repping that later on this evening. Glad to see you are now, but go ahead and talk about what's going on in New Albany tonight.
Well, we're at the lineup, actually, for the parade itself. Parade gets going at 6:30 this evening here in the New Albany area. You can see the different floats behind me all starting to get in position on where they are supposed to be on this very kind of cool evening. New Albany, one of a lot of different Christmas parades that are going to be going on this evening. And you can see kind of the assortment here as the lineup's really still kind of just beginning with that 6:30 time period here. So everybody's, the spirit is here. They're trying to put on their final preparations to make sure the different floats are ready to go. And I've seen floats from Myrtle, from Alpine, really all over Union County here represented at this parade this evening as everybody's getting ready for, obviously, the holiday season. And nothing like a good Christmas parade for that. In fact, looking at this lineup, we go up, and above, and appreciate the good folks at MLM for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. We have our Mississippi Live drone there, as you can see, just kind of looking at that lineup of different folks. Not only do we have, again, the fire trucks there, but a lot of other floats with the different sorts of things on them. I guess the word I'm looking for on that would be lights. Don't know why the word lights escaped me, but maybe it's just the fact that it's so cloudy, and that's got my brain in the clouds as well. A drizzly sort of forecast out there. And while, yes, we have some clouds, not talking about much in the way of meaningful precipitation falling this evening. And again, I just love getting those cool drone shots from the Mississippi Live drone. Hopefully you appreciate those as well. Bringing things back down here to the ground. Again, appreciate the good folks at MLM for sponsoring our parade tour here across North Mississippi. If you're going to be heading out to any of the area parades tonight, expect it to be pretty chilly. Looking at those current temperatures right now, coming in about 34 degrees here in the New Albany area, feeling like 27. So bundle up, cover up that exposed skin. It'll make a difference to really make it feel a lot more mild. Again, look at the first 12 here. We're 35 at 6 p.m. Watching that temperature go down around 29 by 9 p.m., 28 as we look toward midnight. So the fact that actual temperatures are going to be in the 20s, hey, you can see a little bit of fog there coming out of my mouth with that moisture that I'm adding to it and the heat. Try to keep that heat in whatever way possible. It will certainly help on out. Mississippi Live Weather Radar. We're zoomed in here on Union County. No precipitation out there to speak of around our area at this point in time, at least in this area, though we have had a couple reports of an occasional flake or two. Nothing out there to concern us at this moment here around Union County. Of course, this is one of the parades that we do have. A lot more that we're going to zoom in and just kind of give you a quick look here at the way things are lining up. So as we zip down there, again, looking toward Eupora, looking clear and dry at that location there in Webster County. Looking good back up here toward Belmont. Belmont was our number 2. It was really close in the voting. Now, Belmont was right there, but we ended up with New Albany getting a few more. Luckily, we were able to check out those folks up in Belmont this last weekend, so I think that certainly kind of helped out a little bit there. And as we kind of slide things back down there, again, also over toward Oxford. Now, notice that does have little bits of blue showing up on Mississippi Live weather radar. It's not inconceivable that you could see a rogue flake out there. When I say rogue, I mean isolated, and I mean no sorts of travel impacts. We're not expecting any of those kind of issues as we go into and through this evening. And again, looking dry back towards Houston as well, one of our other parades. So again, a number of these parades tonight, but at least it's mainly clear air returns showing up on Mississippi Live weather radar this evening. Though in whatever air it is chilly. 34 temperature in Tupelo right now. It's 31 in Holly Springs, 31 in South Haven there. Coming at 37, though, in Kosciuszko, 35 Eupora. So if you haven't hit the freezing point now, before these parades really get fully going, I think a lot of folks are probably going to go down to that threshold. Wind chills in the mid-20s. That's why my glove, I unfortunately don't have one of those fancy gloves where I can touch an iPad at the same time through my glove. Or at least I didn't bring them with me here in this coat. So I have to keep my hand exposed, and I'm going to have to blow on it, try to keep it warmer because it is not particularly warm there. But wind chills obviously fairly cool. As we look at Mississippi Live weather radar, we're going to go wider here. We have that widespread cloud cover. Gabe, I'm going to have you kind of zoom this out for a second there. As you can see, kind of across the region, we have this high pressure building in from the west. That will eventually clear us. If you come in just a little bit closer toward Arkansas for a second, it might be difficult to necessarily see the edge of that cloud cover that eventually is going to try to clear in there. See, close to Little Rock, just how it goes like that lighter gray gate that's tracing that. That's the edge of that clearing that eventually will move into our skies. Okay, so looking at future cast here, not much in the way of precipitation going to fall from these skies for tonight, though we do have additional chances for a little bit of moisture over the course of the next couple of days. You're going to have to advance this here, Gabe, by hitting the next arrow on that for me. And the rain chances remain extremely limited, which is why it's just kind of cloudy and dry for tonight. Luckily, a night where we can get some of these parades in. As we go through the evening here, we're looking at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., again, just staying cloudy and cool, and maybe a rogue flake, but nothing significant or accumulating from what we have. But it would be nice to be at a Christmas parade and see a flake, right? That high pressure, though, keeps those winds fairly calm by early tomorrow morning. Luckily, those wind chills are not over the top as far as tonight is concerned, but look at what that does. We're down to 23 for the low temperature on the average tomorrow morning. Colder than that in many locations, and we'll look city by city at those low temperatures coming up here in a couple of minutes with our meteorologist, Gabe Mayer. We're 45 at noon and 50 as we look toward 3 p.m., looking at those winds remaining light out of the south. Okay, coming up here in 60 seconds, again, how cold will it be the next couple of days? I think we have some other opportunities for some Christmas parades. Gabe is looking at that as we're also tracking our next chance for moisture, a little bit of a mix near the region with that. Where is that most likely? We'll have that coming up in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live weather continues here from the New Albany area. And again, appreciate the folks at MLM for sponsoring our Christmas parade tour. More after this.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
What I thought was a complete life was nowhere near complete. But it is now.
Learn about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, Matt, giving us a look there in New Albany. Looks like a cold, gloomy night for sure, but that's the case for all of us here in North Mississippi. As we jump a few counties over towards Lafayette County, Oxford showcasing 32 degrees, dew points at 27, shows you that dry air, allowing for those temperatures to fall off. So, yeah, buckle up for a cold night for sure for any of those Christmas parades. Oxford, one of those locations where we do have a Christmas parade. Hey, getting some red and green right there. I know that's not a part of the parade whatsoever, but love the Christmas season. Love when we get some of that festiveness back in the forecast. Pontotoc, another one, 34 degrees right now. Gloomy sights in the sky, so make sure to have those layers ready, as this is just going to be one of those typical winter nights. I know it's not winter, but it makes you feel like it's winter with that gloomy sky and cold temperatures. 37 around Mabin if you're heading out to Eupora this evening. I can see a few folks traveling along Highway 82 looking like a gloomy forecast for them, but luckily not tracking any rainfall, and that's the thing that we were tracking 24 hours ago. As you take a look at some of our rainfall totals, those highest amounts out there towards Monroe County. This, of course, moving in through those overnight hours as the rest of those showers work their way through. And you can see a decent output around DeSoto and Tate County with well over half of an inch, all the way up to an inch in some parts. But this was not a heavy rainfall whatsoever. It was one of those soggy days that the rainfall just lingered all day long, light precipitation. So not exactly impactful rainfall, but hey, nonetheless, we still need rainfall, so we'll take what we can get for sure. Well, as we track Mississippi Live Weather Radar now, you can see some of those blues popping up. Again, as Matt was mentioning, not an impossibility of seeing a flake or two, but out here towards the south where it's warmer, could be seeing maybe a sprinkle or two. But again, that's on the lower end of the threshold. This is not a threat that we're watching for impactful rainfall. Maybe a flake, maybe two flakes. That's about it. All right, let's head into the forecast. And of course, one of those being the gloomy skies. We were tracking some of that satellite imagery, but using some of our infrared technology, we're able to see this on a broader scale. Those dark blues that are showing up mean that those clouds are pretty dense in the atmosphere and continue as we go higher and higher, whereas the thin cloud cover going to be out here towards Texas. So not in our forecast just yet, but hopefully heading into our Wednesday, we get some of those clearer skies, making way for some sunshine. But if you're heading to the parades this evening, yes, a cold one for sure. 32 degrees by 7, 30 by 8, and 29 degrees by 9. So have those layers ready. I'm probably going to say that about 10 more times to really push the message, because that's how cold of a forecast we're talking about. 29 degrees by 9. Whew, it's going to be dropping off quickly for the start of our Wednesday. So Futurecast, let's go ahead and take that through the night. And you can see that we're not tracking a drop of rainfall. Those gloomy conditions, though, they linger in the forecast and will stick around into those overnight hours as well. So if you're heading to the Christmas parades or just heading out on the town, it's looking like a good forecast for it if you can survive the cold. Even by 10 o'clock, sticking with those cold temperatures, but dry nonetheless across the region. And as we push that forecast into those overnight hours, not tracking any rainfall either, as high pressure remains the big story, the big weather maker over the top of us here in North Mississippi. But we are in this swath of cloud cover that covers both of the Twin States, and that's where that cloud cover will sit moving into the start of our Wednesday as well. So usually we need a little bit more clearing whenever it comes to those temperatures falling off, but not in this weather pattern. No, the cold air is going to dominate our forecast one way or another, rain, cloud, or shine. And with our forecast, it's looking like cloud and still cold. So Wednesday morning, waking up and heading out the door, these are your temperatures. Yes, take a step back, go ahead and grab your jackets, because you might want to go ahead and start layering up now to prepare for this cold forecast we're going to be experiencing. 24 in Tupelo, 23 Corinth and Booneville, 23 Senatobia, 28 Greenwood, and 27 around Kosciuszko. Then we factor in wind chill, bumps those temperatures down a degree in some spots. So we're talking low to mid 20s, feels like values heading out the door. We need to layer up for sure, and that includes heading off to the school bus for your Wednesday morning. 23 degrees, those little ones definitely need 2, 3, maybe even 4 layers heading out the door, and maybe some hot hands too to accommodate for some of this chilly weather. 50 degrees towards drop-off, that cloud cover potentially giving some patchy fog as well, but we're not talking about any rainfall in that forecast. Looking good to go as we get into our Wednesday. All right, let's expand this out just a bit, and you can see, yeah, our forecast dominated by high pressure right over the top of North Mississippi as we get our Wednesday started. As we keep that forecast moving, high pressure starts to move a little bit more out towards the east, and that brings back that moisture into our forecast. That allows for temperatures to be slightly warmer, but also allows for that cloud cover to stick around and potentially even a few showers. We're not talking about Wednesday, we're talking more towards towards Thursday and Friday, and some of those could impact some parades by the end of the week. But Wednesday looking good to go, so any parades that we're having on our Wednesday still going to be good to go as planned. I need to look back at the list and see what parades are happening, but if you know of one, go ahead and put it down in the chat, and we'll be sure to shout that out here in a moment, but we'll have that updated list for the 6 o'clock hour. Now, as we move that forecast into the 6 o'clock hour by Wednesday, looking good to go once again as those showers primarily remain towards Texarkana, so not tracking a drop here in North Mississippi, as high pressure remains the big theme of our forecast. High temperatures, should I say, for our Wednesday forecast, trending a little bit warmer than what we had today. So even with the gloomy skies, we're trying to warm up just a little bit. 51 in Tupelo, 52 Columbus, 55 Kosciuszko, and 48 still towards Clarksdale. So around the Tennessee state line, we're only climbing into the upper 40s, going to feel slightly similar to what we have seen today, but further down south, maybe a little bit of clearing allows for those temperatures to heat up ever so slightly, and we'll take every degree that we can get at this point. All right, moving into our Wednesday night and really into the start of our Thursday. We need to watch for rain chances moving back into the forecast. This attached to that frontal boundary that's pushing into the region. As you can see, a few raindrops, not an impossibility getting into the Louisiana and Arkansas area. Now let's go ahead and push that into our Thursday morning. And as you can see, yes, a wintry mix possible in parts of Tennessee, but that's where it will remain. We're not tracking any of that here for North Mississippi. Our temperatures, believe it or not, are going to be too warm for this to take place, so we're going to be dealing with that cold rainfall for the start of our Thursday, and even then, chances pretty isolated for the start of the day. But that's not the only rain chances we'll have. Pushing more into our Thursday afternoon, you can see another batch of moisture moving back into that forecast. This out there towards Little Rock and really out there towards Texarkana, that building into those overnight, 3 p.m., so afternoon hours. But then as we head into those evening forecasts, you can see that's where that rainfall moves back into the forecast. I know you're looking at it. Some of that wintry mix suggesting that it could get into North Mississippi by the time we get into our Thursday late afternoon. But again, temperatures just going to be too warm. While Futurecast is showing it, we don't really believe that this will verify. As of right now, we have a cold rain in our forecast once again Thursday night. The one note with this forecast is you saw it moving in about 5, 6 o'clock on your Thursday evening. So any parades that we have planned may need to talk about potentially rescheduling those to accommodate for some of that moisture and that sticking around by 10 o'clock. So we don't want to get caught in that cold rain for sure. And we want to be as dry of a forecast as we can be. And speaking of, we do have our games of the week, I should say, coming up later on this week. This is, of course, Thursday down in Starkville towards Davis Wade. 47 degrees, game 1, 43, game 2, and then by celebration, because of course we're going to try to bring home 2 state titles. It's going to be 42 degrees, so a little preview of that. I know we're talking about Christmas parades, but few folks talking about football games, and we're tracking 30 to 40% chances of rainfall. So some of those games may need that rain gear handy, especially towards game 1, game 2, maybe reaching a little bit of a dry spell. And as we look well ahead towards the weekend, I figured, hey, we're talking about high school football. Let's talk SEC football in just a minute, and that's Alabama taking on Georgia in the SEC championship. That's going to be in Atlanta, and as you can see, maybe the chance at a few showers, but it's a closed arena, so we're not exactly worried about that moisture maybe impacting that commute just a bit. But either way, looking like a good forecast. I know some Rebel fans wishing that they got in there, but hey, at least playoffs are in the future. As we look at high temperatures for your Thursday, 49 degrees Houston, 45 there towards Booneville, and 45 around Oxford, 49 around Louisville. And as we look at that extended forecast, with this rainfall pushing in, temperatures, they get better on the low side, but the high temperatures only climbing into the upper 40s. It's going to be a cold rain once again. Those chances do linger into the weekend, but very isolated in nature, and you can really see that with the temperature disparity, a near 20-degree difference compared to the 13 to 14-degree difference. So not exactly as much of a moist environment, and really into early next week, a lot of that does dry up as well, with potentially sunshine returning by Tuesday. But before then, it's going to be bits and pieces of sunshine here and there. It's just a pretty gloomy forecast, all things considered. So yeah, that's what we're tracking here in the Room to Room Weather Center. But Matt is live out in the field tracking the latest on this as well. And those gloomy temperatures, Matt, I think that you are good to go. Let's see if he has anything.
Well, hold on. Let me park here real quick. Oh, someone iced out that parking spot there. That's a way to describe someone that's parking in an electric car spot. Real quick, Gabe, I'm in a parking lot, so it's not super dangerous, but I'm also driving. So I'm gonna get downtown here, and we'll get ready for the parade coming up here in just a little bit. 6:30 start, and obviously a chilly evening out there. I'm sending it back to you in the studio, and again, appreciate MLM for sponsoring us here on Mississippi Live Weather and our parade tracker for 2025.
Well, bringing it back here to the Room to Room Weather Center, I know we are enjoying toastier conditions inside because the heat is on, but out there it's a cold forecast. New Albany's parade starts at 6:30, so if you're looking to head somewhere this evening, New Albany, a great location, seeing the best in Union County as they all come together in New Albany to go through the parade over there. So it's going to be a fun time, and we'll continue to track that at 6 o'clock for that 6:30 parade start time. Our Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lopon, will join us live in New Albany with the very latest as we take a look at that. The best ways to watch it'll be with the free app available on iOS and Android. Scan those QR codes on the bottom of your screen right now and be able to access that today. And that's honestly where a lot of you are watching from. And speaking of that broadcast schedule, happening at 5, 6, and 10, so our next broadcast happening at the 6 o'clock hour. And then at 6:30, 7, and 7:30, our meteorologist Maggie McCauley tracks the latest on the day ahead. She'll have a cold forecast for the start of your Wednesday, so make sure to join her bright and early with a hot cup of coffee, and she'll be able to walk you guys through what to expect here in North Mississippi. But don't worry, that's in the future. We still have our 6 o'clock broadcast. Going to be a fun one in New Albany. Matt having the latest on that forecast. We can't wait to see you guys there at 6 o'clock.